Well, I'm on my way home right now. And I'll tell you what, I got thinking about it on the track. I don't want to do my videos until tomorrow. I don't want to talk about how the horses raced, because obviously we have horses racing tonight. I want to get a full grasp of, what the odds are, how the horses look for Monday, digest who trained well. So I'm going to bring you the bulk of your videos tomorrow, but keeping in that tone, I would like to bring you the babies today because they are fresh. They did train today. Now, we had some scratches, and I think it's about time. It's March? It's coming up to March 15th. The stake payments are March 15th. And I think I need to start talking about how the horses are looking right now. Which ones are really, really impressing me? And to be quite frank, there's another side of that. Which ones aren't impressing me? Which ones are we having any difficulties? I can think of a few off the top of my head. We'll talk about them and what I need to see from them moving forward. So I think what I'll do first is talk about the sets today. There were some surprises today. There were some shoeing changes made, some equipment changes made, and I wanted to take a look at how they went. Now, one horse in particular I wanted to see. I only got to catch the end of his training mile because I went out on the track, was sipping on my shine, and he lost his shoe. Now, he wasn't acting up, he was behaving. He simply came off. So I turned around, picked it up. I actually drove him into Jason's shed row because that's where our shoeing equipment is for fixing shoes. And I put the shoe back on myself and went back out and trained him. By the time I got back out to go my mile with them, they had already gone their mile. Now, the horse I'm talking about I wanted to see was Landing Strip. We had put the hobbles on him at the last minute. I'd said, I've threatened for a month to take this horse to the vet, but when I see him jog, I just can't see anything there that would precipitate that would make me, he needs to go to the vet. It's only when he's in training. Is he interfering? Is there something we can do? He was so sure-footed, I didn't want to put the hobbles on him. Now, there's a horse today, I'm going to put them on next week, who is and was even better-footed than him. But to get around this track and to build their confidence and start turning them to that corner, because we are going to miss time. There are going to be days it rains. When the weather starts warming up, the track's going to start to let go. We are going to miss a few training days. I was so happy to get today in. So I'm going to talk about a few of those horses today. I don't have the scratches in front of me, but we can talk about them later. There was no serious issues. We had some sickness for a couple of horses, had high temperatures and whatnot. But for the most part, I was happy. So set one, a lot of these sets, they may have been mutated a little bit from what they were last week, but for the most part, the foundation was there. I kind of left them alone. So Crantini, I told you guys he was awesome on the front end last week. I put him in a bad spot this week. I didn't put him in a bad spot. I put him in a tough spot with James. I moved, who did I have in there? I had Enzo in there. I moved Enzo around him at the half, knowing he would throw his head, but would he behave? He behaved for most of it, and then down the back stretch, he rolled off stride. You're going to see this. And, I know, it was almost like James and I were talking without saying a word. He was, at first glance, he was upset because I moved the horse around and the horse made a break, but he knew that he had to do that. He knew that we can't just let him do things the easy way. We're going to have to put him in tougher spots. So he had talked about that briefly, pulling up, changing it, going back to a martingale, a regular martingale rather than that V that you see on a lot of our horses. It's actually a thoroughbred martingale. So going back to a more standardbred martingale, very tight with rubber in the middle. So there is some play, but not a lot. And I agree. It's probably the best way to go. So Crantini did make a break today, but we are very aware of what is going on. We're trying to work with him, and we will. It's just going to take time. I'm not worried about the breaks of Crantini. I don't want to talk about those today. Breaks from horses that are making breaks for no particular reason, that's a problem. Right? Horses that are looking to make mistakes, those are problems. The Crantini breaks, I already know what he's doing. He's not doing it to be rude. He's just a scatterbrain. And we'll work on that, and we'll get him right. But it'll take time. Whispering Song was very, very good today also. Brody said a little hikey in the turns, but not on a line, not sore at all. We started to get a lot of... So, two things. There's the corks that are on the horses right now are kind of worn down because they've been on there from a month ago. If they have corks on, it's because they're due to be shod. If they've been shod, they have no corks on, and the track was quite snowy today. So a couple of those horses we're going to have to give mulligans to because they rolled off stride. Whispering Song didn't run, but I think those older corks mean she's probably due to be shod. That water bottle's going to drive me crazy. probably due to be shod, and we'll get her shod in short order. So, Whispering Song, let me just put this on there. Where are we at now? Enzo Guel was awesome today. He won the set. He didn't win it easily. A horse I want to talk about now. I am going to do a top 10 list this week. This isn't your top 10 list. This is me. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about the babies this week because you deserve it. So I am going to make a top 10 list. A top 10 list of horses that I see being our best 10. That might be a combination of how they look today, how they've looked in the past, how I see them looking in the very near future. Might even slide a couple of horses on the list, but it will be a top 10 list. And a horse that belongs on that list is Cutie Cumber. She was very good. Couldn't quite get to Enzo, but was closing hard and looked very, very good. Amy went with her. Amy loves that filly. She's a very likable filly, and she is going to have what I expect and think will be a very good year in the state of New York. So Enzo Guello was very good. I don't want to harp on him. I've told everybody I think he's our best horse. Now there's some horses that I think will challenge him throughout the spring into the summer and will make him a better horse for it. But I think straight up best horse right now I think is Enzo, but there are some horses you can make an argument that could surpass him as you go into the summer, but I'm not certain of that. So Enzo was great. Carter Michael Dio jumped over a bell boot. He's going to get a mulligan. He was doing his work great. I saw the bell boot. I went around it and I heard somebody make a break. Johnny said, Jesus Christ, he said, I was trotting along nice and you cleared to the front. You cleared off the front. I was coming with him. He said there was a bell boot right there and he just spooked at it just for a second and trotted over. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. So Carter Michael Dio made a break. Very rare. Full Heart was good, but Johnny said she was really a handful for Jimmy. I think this filly's just getting racy to the point now, and they'll do this. When they start to get a little speed fed into them, some of them want more and more and more and more and more. And it's really hard to throttle them back a little bit. We're going to go to an open bridle, change her overcheck bit to something a little more severe so we can control her for a bit. And then when it's time to go, we'll let her go. But that time is not now. So Full Heart was good today. Little rammy, little bully, but very good. Cunning Connie was scratched. She had a little temperature today. She was sick all last week. Very light jogging all week, and she jogged light again today. So, but again, that's a horse I'm absolutely not worried about. She does her work very well, and if she misses a little time here and there, not really the end of the world. Set 2 with the Pacers out again. A horse that really shocked me today. Old Check. We took the cork off him up front, went with flip-flops. So he had a full swedge, half shoe with a flip-flop on him today and went through the snow and the ice perfectly. Now, he did have cork on behind, but Danny said he was night and day. Totally different horse. He beat all of our Pacers today and looked good doing it. We're gonna have to work with Real Fear. He was running in, he was running out. I think it's just going to be a little internal chess match with him. I have pads on him because I thought the running in and running out was caused from maybe sore feet were the issue. He's had those pads on 3 weeks, and I don't see much of a difference pre-pad to post-pad application. So I'm of the ilk now that it's not pads, that maybe it's just him wandering a bit, maybe his knees, a little cold sore in his knees, a little tight in there. Just things that we can work on, but it's not his feet. So we're going to take those pads off, opt for a lower angle with a full swed shoe. If he's a racehorse, I put aluminum on him, but I don't want to do that to him. Put a full swed shoe on him. He has a half round, half swedge on today, so that could have been a little scrambling also. No cork behind today. So we're going to take those pads off, full swed shoe on him. We are going to break him to a Danny special, the old 2 head pull on each side. And work on it. The speed is there, the talent is there, and the drive is always there with this colt. I ended up 2nd or 3rd. Who else was in there? Victor Cruz was great again. Brody sat him in the whole way, did a perfect job with him. He was very good. May Lose Control was very good again. Real Fear, as they said, was good. Captain in the Air looked good. He didn't get by me, but I know he was pacing really good in the mile. Who's the other one? Captain in the Air, Rito Legacy. Johnny said, I think she's one of those horses you really got to rev her up to do her work. And he said, I didn't. I just went out and let her saunter along. She did her work well, 1 mile in 2:32 or something. And did a great job. So I will give you guys the times, I guess. Everybody, at this time of year, everybody's like, how fast you go, how fast you go. Keep in mind, this is a short half-mile track, so really 2:30 could be 2:34, 2:35. So the time means nothing. I mean nothing. But all these horses have been or are ready to go 2:28 to 2:32 right now. All of them. And then more than you know was gelded last week. I just didn't want to train him today, so we didn't. He was off, but he's healthy, just freshly castrated. You know what I did? I got that glue on my coat the other day. Now I got it on my lips. Super glued my lips. Not cool. Race 3, set 3. Merchantman made a break and shouldn't have. Felt great. Just no confidence in the turns, and this is exactly what Enzo went through, and it was an easy fix. We just put the hobbles on him. So super glue on my lips was from making hobbles today for Merchantman. I would bet, I was going to say one of my fingers, but I wouldn't bet one of my fingers, I don't think. I would give anybody very, very, very good odds that Merchantman will look incredible next week with hobbles on. Mark my words, 1 week out, in 7 days, if we drone in 7 days, Merchantman will be on the lips and tongues of everyone at thestable.ca and in thestable.ca next week. Mark my words. Marshall Zukov looked great today. Finished up good. Una Madonna gave the day off. So a lot of you guys are wondering what happened with Una. So Una was getting stripped in the bass stall, and she can be a little bit of a little cow sometimes, but in that good way where it's like step away or I'm going to hurt you kind of way. I don't think she ever would, but she's got that little edge, that little chip on her shoulder all the time. I love it. I don't want to move it. I want to leave it right there. But she kicked at something the other day and got her leg over the rope of the trotting hobbles and burnt in her heel. So you imagine how it'll be like putting a blister on your armpit. So it's very tender, very sore. We didn't train her last week. She lost her shoe. And this week, I saw her Wednesday. Not only is it tender, but there was some surface infections. You can imagine the heel is right down in the stall. So worked on it today. I thought she jogged good. I just didn't want to train her. I didn't want to bug her today. She's been awesome. I just left her alone. So she jogged today and looked good doing it. What a mission, Johnny said. Jimmy said made one little break, but was trotting good otherwise. Took all the cork off him, so not the end of the world. Tailgate Buzz was bionic again today. This horse is really, I don't talk about him enough because I don't go with him. One of our clients pointed that out. You're right. Marco said, I don't think you give him the credence you should. Now, keep in mind, saying that as an owner of the horse, you know what I mean? You think lots of him because you own him, and he is a very nice horse. But there may have been some credence in the fact that maybe I didn't give him enough credit because I don't go with him that often. But he was awesome again today. Brace for Landing was great again. I want to ensure that we have this guy paid up to the latter part of the summer also. He does strike me as he's immature, but he's trotting great. Now, I can draw comparisons to a situation like 3-Point Blue Chip, but keep in mind, every time I draw a comparison to the 3-Point Blue Chip being immature, there's lots of horses that were immature that didn't turn out good also. So keep that in mind when I talk. Take that with a grain of salt. Brace for Landing looked awesome again today. The difference is 3-Point Blue Chip was doing things wrong last year. This guy isn't. He's doing them right and looks good doing it. Gandalf the Black made a break. He's getting close. Getting real close. I know one of our clients had sent me a stern email saying, the horse just needs time. I'm not giving him any more time. I'm just not doing it. You have to show me something. There's not enough lameness to give him an excuse. There's no interference. Sure, he might grow up and be an okay colt, but I just don't think the drive and determination is there for Gandalf the Black. I don't. So for those of you who are my partners at Gandalf the Black, he is super close for me just putting him up for sale. And there's going to be a lot of people send me emails over that. That's just the way it is. I'm not keeping horses that I am almost certain are mediocre in the burn. I will hope and pray the same as you. The difference between me and you is you don't know because you aren't sitting behind the horses. You don't see them all the time the same way that we do them, the way that we do. We don't judge them and grade them the same way that you might because you're a partner or an owner on a horse. I try to do it as objectively and unbiased and fairly as I possibly can. Sure, when I go with a horse like Enzo and I know that he tries his heart out and I know that he does everything right, sure, I always will tilt towards talking extremely favorably for a horse like that. And horses that aren't as talented as him. But that goes the other way too. There's two sides to that coin, right? If the horses aren't doing their work well and don't want to do their work well, and quite frankly, maybe don't possess the overall, at least the look of ability, it's probably because they don't have it. So I know every year we get to this point where we talk about selling some horses and people get offended. I I looked the other day. I don't think there's a human being owns more of Gandalf than I do. So there's no one cheering for him more than me. He's just not a good horse right now, I don't think. Nor do I know. I'm not certain that he ever will be. It's March 15th. We don't know what will happen in June, but I can tell you one thing. For those of you who have been with us for a long time, there hasn't been too many times we sold horses in March where we just went gulp. Oh, geez, we made a big error there. Not very often. So, I might not be able to tell you who the best horse is, but I can tell you some of the worst ones are. So, where are we at? That's set number 3. Set number 4, Sipping on My Shine, pulled that shoe off. I went a mile faster than anybody's been with anybody right now at the farm. 226 or 225 was Sipping on My Shine. Speed is no problem for this guy. But he's starting to get it. We made some equipment adjustments, opened him up, put an open bridle on him. He is starting to get it now. He is starting to do his work right. So I am impressed with Sipping on My Shine. It wasn't his fault the shoe came off today. It wasn't acting up. It just came off. Put it back on. I went a mile and I think 226, 225 and 4. He was awesome. Did it easy. Super easy. Anchors Up. I did see the end of the set. Anchors Up, I believe, hung on and won the set and looked very, very good doing it. Smoking Hot Irish Girl, Mo Power Baby, both closing in hard. Mo Power Baby, no soundstay, looked great on the track. Leaps and Bounds made a little break coming out of the last turn, but as I said to Dominic, you can't expect to brush from 6th to 1st on the end of the mile with this filly. She just doesn't possess that snap speed yet. So you can't do it. She gets frustrated. She put a step in and rolled off. It's not the end of the world. And the horse I was telling you about, Landing Strip. Put the hobbles on Landing Strip today, and it was game on. He looked awesome. Very impressed with what I saw from Landing Strip. And then High Enterprise. We took all the grab offer today. We scratched early because I just said with no cork on this track, probably shouldn't be able to get a hold of it that good. Probably shouldn't be able to get a hold of the track that good. So High Enterprise, we didn't train her today. Listen, she never gets time off. So we gave her the day off, and it was well deserved. So High Enterprise did not go today. Now moving on, we had 8 sets. We're now moving on to screwed that up, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. Moving on to set number 6. Sister Solange was good again. I was on the front with, was I? Yep, Nothing But a Dreamer. He was trotting great. I just hobbles a hair too long. Johnny came first over with Magical Tom. He was just riding on the outside of me, and he rolled off stride in that last turn. I think we get the cork off him too. And then because he rolled off, I kind of cinched up Nothing But a Dreamer. I should have just let him accelerate through the turn. He would have been awesome. Instead, he rolled off for a step. I jumped over a set here. That doesn't matter. You don't know that. Rolled off stride for a bit. Coupe de Ville and Sister Solange finished up together. I come back trotting, finished 3rd. Columbus had rolled off. James said, I just hobbles too long, and he needs that Murphy on the inside. I noticed they didn't put it on. There was some confusion. They said Anthony had it on the outside, then put it on the inside, and James said, just leave it off. No, don't do that. So Columbus needs the Murphy blind on the inside, hobbles a little tighter, but he said he really didn't do anything wrong. It really even wasn't his fault that he rolled off stride, so not a big deal. He'll get them on Wednesday, but Sister Solange and Coupe de Ville were awesome. Error-free trips and finished up great. I come back on for 3rd with Nothing But a Dreamer. Magical Tom was beside me 4th and a little ways back to Columbus. GJ's ATM was obviously scratched. I told you guys he got hurt in the stall. He's fine. He's walking better and looking better. But he did bruise his leg up. He clearly got cast in the stall. So I'll jump back now to the set I went over. My 1%, we did get the flip-flops on him, took all the grab off him just in time for it to be icy. So he rolled off today, but again, this time he looked good. It wasn't his fault. He just had no grab to get a hold of that. And even to add insult to injury, he had pads on top of the full swedges with no grab. So certainly wasn't his fault today. Mario said he was trotting great, though. Hasty Bid finished up good. That was James's. Landing Pad was awesome. I went with him today. Very happy with this horse. I think he's going to have a bright future, this colt. He just seems so powerful, so wiry and strong. I just think as we continue to get flat lines on him, he's just going to get better and better and better. Sir Strong rolled off in the last turn, but he got those open-toed shoes. Johnny thought maybe he ran in a little bit on him. Ran in a little bit on him, and maybe the hobbles. I don't know if he said the hobbles were too loose or not, but either way, he made a break, and he was great the other day for me. So he is a horse you kind of got to get to know. Certainly not Johnny's fault. I said that when I went with him the first time. Like, geez, until I really scored him down and tinkered with his hobbles, he felt horrible, and then he immediately felt great. Well, I don't think he got to the great feeling today, and he just rolled off on Johnny in the last turn. Silent Assassin was great again. Spitfire Overseas won the set, I believe. Did win the set today. Landing Pad, Silent Assassin were both right there. Hasty Bid was in the middle. Those four right across the track. But none of us wanted to get past, nor could we get past Spitfire Overseas. Sir Strong and my 1% need little casses, little breaks. The 7th set was actually good. Tactical Mounds mauled them. She was awesome today. She's gonna find. I'll give you guys a little spoiler alert. Tactical Mounds is gonna find her way into my top 10 list. I think this filly has a very, very bright future, and she looked awesome today. Horse that we got to get the hobbles on, that made a break in the turn today that never did before, Swinging Senorita. Jimmy said she's trotting everything great, but she just put a step in and roll off. That is a lack of confidence, and that is usually step one was putting on the hobbles. Is when they do that, they'll get to the turn and roll off, get to the turn and roll off. They're just interfering a little bit. They need to be able to push through, and the hobbles help them do that. So the hobbles will be applied to Swinging Senorita. Otherwise, she was good. Fashion Presidente was second. He trained his mile good. As I said to Danny after, just looked a little lethargic in the mile. I'm going to gallop him for a couple of weeks. They like doing it, and it's a little change in their routine. So I'm going to gallop Fashion Presidente. Now, we won't. We'll train him Saturday for you guys, but I'll gallop him on Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and the following Saturday. No track training, set training for him, just galloping. There may be some older horsemen out there that don't like that approach. I can assure you a lot of the horses really like it, and this guy strikes me as one that definitely will. So a little change in the routine for Fashion Presidente. Hill Street Blues was good. Put a little step in on Johnny when he was clearing off the lead, but he said, Anthony, he was bomb-proof after that. I really liked the way the horse is hung up and the way he's going. Very happy with him. Warwee Yuri took all the cork off, poor Yuri, and it was icy. He was at the half in 219, rolled off and still won a mile in 240. So he's getting there. It looks ugly. It's not pretty. It's a little, conjunctive, but he's getting there. And I really do think today was a step forward for Warwee Yuri. Dream of Credit was a little bit scratched. He was all scratched. He was a little bit sick today. And then I read scratched, and he was scratched. Twin Cedars All-Star, right line a bit, but James said he was actually better. And for James to give this horse credit, I believe he spoke quite poorly of him in December and January. So for him to start giving him credit must mean that he trained pretty good today. Oh my gosh, was sick and is sick right now. He didn't go today. Last set, Rosita's Dream was horrible. My God, he was terrible. Some horses just really struggle with the transition of the hobbles, and that's what I saw today from Rosita's Dream. We put the hobbles on him. He didn't like them at all. So we're going to have to, that doesn't mean much. What it means in my mind is he can't trot in hobbles with those shoes on. We're going to change his shoes next week, go to a little different set of shoes. I'm going to put some ag bars on him behind, slow him down a little bit. Might just go to an aluminum shoe or even I'll go to a full swedge. I don't want to go to an aluminum shoe on a horse right now. Full swedge shoe up front, but not turned around backwards, turned around frontwards. Ag bars on him behind. But if the warmer weather's coming, I'm going to think about it. It's a combination of changing his shoes, but he was terrible today. He's got some work coming, and he's got lots to offer, so I'm sure he'll be fine, but today he wasn't. 5 Fish Species was awesome. Cash Deals was good. Austral Hanover won the set. 231. He beat Lost Spirit, who's been unbeatable. So good for him. Austral Hanover won the set. 5 Fish Species was second. Lost Spirit third. Cash Deals, Depend On It made a break. I'm going to pull the plug on Depend On It right now. Nice looking horse. Beautiful horse. But he's not going to be a horse for the stable, I don't think. I like him, but I've seen this movie way too many times to not remember the ending. So Depend On It, I'm probably going to look to sell him over the next little while. Him and a few other horses are leaving. This guy's going to be the first one, though. Depend On It. I like him. Don't hate him for any reason. He's just not going to be a stable horse. And Always Charming was awesome today. Was awesome Wednesday. We did apply the hobbles. Now, said he was running in quite a bit today. James said no Murphy blind the other day, was running out. I said put a Murphy blind. They put it on him, and he's running in bad. Pretty easy fix, right? Take it off. So, Always Charming, James said was bionic on Wednesday. I did not see him Wednesday. I did not see him today, but I'm told he was great both times. So there is just about as blunt an explanation as you're going to get about everything that went on today. I got some more lists coming for you. Top 10 overall. My top 10 picks as of, I'm going to call it March 15th because it's a round number. March 15th, 2022. We'll spend the rest of March trying to get a top 10 list from everybody. Last year we did it later on. I want to do it right now. So March 15th, my top 10 list of March 15th, who I think are our best 10 horses in our barn. I'm going to come back in a minute with that list. I'm going to try and get James this week to do the list also. Johnny, Danny. Danny's a real recluse. See if we can get him on camera. It looked like if you've ever watched Talladega Nights when Will Ferrell wins the race. Anyway, so that's your that's your blunt update of how the babies went today. Extremely happy overall with what I've seen. I see a lot of horses heading in a very, very good direction here at the stable.ca. So with that, I will end this video. Babysitter Justin is about to leave. I'm going to bring you guys the top 10 list overall in just a minute.